What's up, guy? This is Ryan117.
This is Jay, also known as ERAD, and we're taking a look at Europa Universalis 4 today.
That's
Um,
right.
you want to explain to the audience what this game's all about? Because I have to admit I am also learning as we go along.
All right. This is one of my favorite games from great studio Paradox. This is a grand strategy with emphasis on the grand aspect of it. You basically run a nation, one of any number of nations, as you can see here. And you have basically the entirety of the world to choose from, anywhere from small Native American tribes in North America to the Chinese to even individual daimos, or however you pronounce that, in Japan. Um, but today, I think we're going to stick with the Europa part of Europa Universalis.
That's fair enough.
So before we start this, we agreed we would be playing as the Muslim Khanate of Crimea, led by Khan Haji First Hooray. I think that's how that's pronounced. I did a little Wikipedia search earlier.
I see.
So that's the best I got.
So this nation, I guess, was formed by a Mongol horde, is what you're saying?
So the Golden Horde used to stretch over most of I guess you would like to call it Russia or Eastern Europe, and the Crimea Horde Khanate, Crimean Khanate, broke away from the Golden Horde, like let's say 20 years before we start in November 11th, 1444. And it by far was the longest lasting of the Khanates that fell away from the Golden Horde.
I see. So did they kind of become their own country in a sense, where they kind of
Um,
moved away from the ideals of the Mongols?
well,
I mean,
kind of.
I see that.
They unlike the horde that remains here, they actually stopped being nomads and settled. But they swiftly became, don't want to say a vassal of the Ottomans, but more of a subject nation of the Ottomans, and that lasted until the late 17. I want to say like 1786 or 83, at which point Russia conquered the area as part of the Ottomans' decline in that century.
I see. And Crimea itself was was basically destroyed after the Crimean War, is from my understanding.
Well, so the
Or
Crimea, it was still a part of Russia. All the Crimean War did was halt Russian expansion into Ottoman territory, basically.
so Crimea was already gone by that
Yeah,
point.
Crimea was already integrated
Okay.
part of Russia at that point. You know, they won some rights for pilgrims and blah blah blah.
All right.
But
Well, I mean that's the real history, but we are here to make our own history,
yes, yes,
which will hopefully play out a little bit differently. And
we shall not constrain ourselves to the northern part of the Black Sea, my friend. We shall have it all,
I see.
or preferably at least a nice chunk of Eurasia. How about we aim for that?
Oh, we're not going straight for Paris.
Um, we will be knocking on Paris's doorstep before the end of this, I hope.
All right.
But let make no mistake, we are stuck between some powerful forces. The Ottomans, obviously, to the south, who are just beginning their rise. We have Muscovy, most likely to form Russia amongst the various Russian states here. We have Poland, Lithuania here, um, with their very, very rich center of trade, Kiev, which will hopefully be one of our first ports of call. Um, yeah, so we're stuck between some powerful allies, or powerful forces, I should say. Hopefully, allies. Um, but we'll see if we can make a good go of it.
All right. Well, let's get started then.
All right. For just in case people complain, no, we are not playing on Iron Man mode. Not because we're going to cheat or anything, but simply because it autosaves quite a lot.
And Iron Man mode is a game where you're basically forced into playing one save, and you can't go back and reload your saves. Is that correct?
Yes.
Uh, Yeah, so I mean that won't really matter because we also plan on sticking with the same save. You will probably notice that, everything in these videos will be exactly how we have played it through.
Cool.
So,
Oh, oopsies.
oh, we just start a game as Lithuania
Yeah,
then.
how about we exit out of that? Careful what you click, folks.
And we have this guy here telling us of our mistake with
Yes.
his hand gestures.
Ah, who needs his nonsense? Actually, this is actually a good point to show the options we're running with as well. Pretty much everything's set to normal. I don't particularly like running with historically lucky nations because that puts us at a disadvantage.
Well, who would
What
be
the
the
heck?
luckiest nation in
Ottomans, Muscovy. We'd be in trouble, and Austria would be at some point become a problem.
and what would how does luck factor into the
They
game?
get various bonuses.
All right, well, we'll see as we play along what kind of random variables there are to
Yeah.
the strategy here.
Okay. So those are the options we're running with, and now that we have proper country selected, let's begin.
Unlike that improper Lithuania,
Yeah,
always had a problem with them.
stuff happens. All right.
All right, here we go.
So
So what we have just started. So this is the earliest state we could start. Is that correct?
yeah, this is the
Um,
earliest so far.
so
We are playing with the Conquest of Paradise expansion, which is the most recent one to come out last month, I think. So obviously we're not going to use any of the features. Um, but yeah, so here's what we see so far. We are of the Muslim tech group, or oh no, we're in the Nomad. But we're a Muslim nation.
we are a
So
Muslim nation. So let's see here. Um,
here's
we
the religious map.
Can you explain some of these menus?
Okay.
Because it's a lot of stuff going on and
Yep.
quite intimidating unless
Yeah.
you actually know what anything does here.
Yeah. So, Well, first off, why can we only see the eastern half of Eurasia? Is basically because we are of the Nomad Tech group. We basically uncover the lands that the people in our tech group know about. So we know everything from Japan to Poland and what is yeah Genoa here, and that's only because it's right next to us. Um,
Though we can only see people in our own tech group,
yeah, what they can see,
what they
basically.
can see.
Yeah, but over time, new lands will pop up. Or if we, say, declare war on Poland, we can march into their territory. But I hate marching into unexplored territory. Unfortunately, it seems in this game we're going to have to do it.
Right.
So basically, everything. There's two important things to keep you updated on what's going on: your ledger, and these little drop-down flags. Now, if the more pressing the issue is, they go red, yellow, green. So here we can choose advisors. I don't think we can afford that at this point. No, we cannot. These are people with disputed successions. We can claim their throne and all that stuff. I don't really like to play that game, just because it's ripe for abuse. If we get a personal union, so be it. But otherwise, I'm not particularly interested. Here are the mission screens. So we can choose a mission what we want. So
So these are preset missions that the game has for each nation,
so
or
they do write custom missions for some nations, but there are random missions that will pop up depending on what you need, how your country's doing. Like if our prestige was 100, right? We wouldn't get the improve your prestige mission, obviously, or even if it was remotely close to 50, we wouldn't get that mission.
right.
But you can see here, save the Tartar people in Azov, which is currently controlled by Genoa.
The Tartar people.
Yes, we are Tartars.
Well, we know a thing about Tartar
Yes.
as well.
Okay, let's not go there. But yeah, so we can select this mission. This will give us a casus belli, or a way to declare war without getting penalized, and a claim, I believe, on this province. So yeah, we have basically. So we have one because the Genoese are of a different religion than us, and one because they are of a different ethnic group than we are. So I
So we do not like Genoa right now, is what
no
this
no
game
no
is
no
saying.
no. So they hold some important lands for us.
And Genoa is that very small nation that's basically inside of us.
Right. So
Um,
they control the fortresses at Kaffa and Azov. Um, so Genoa basically controls
oh, and they
their little
have.
province here, Liguria, and I think they control Corsica as well, although we can't see that because again we haven't discovered it. Um,
So how is that even possible that they basically control territories that are like very far apart and very small and like there's just I don't understand. Seems very
well,
hard to get to communicate these to each other and everything.
so it is. I mean, it's more difficult for them to control than if it was right next to them, but especially Kaffa. Um, Historically was an important fortress, and it was conquered originally to prevent piracy along the Black Sea. So, like, this land has exchanged hands a lot of times. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even pretend to tell you.
Okay, so but
Um, and
where is Genoa proper? Where is
like
that?
right here,
So that is the proper
that's
location,
their capital. Like, so you could click on any right click on
right?
any flag and mark it as specialist, but go to their capital. There it is,
Okay.
right there.
So we that should make conquering the Azov, or
Yeah.
I believe that should make that very easy.
Yes, hopefully. I mean, we have to rack up war score, and hopefully we'll be able to do that pretty quick. Actually, let's just take this mission. Um,
So we can accept or decline these missions.
yeah, you don't have to take a mission if you don't want to, but there are some rewards. I mean, it's just 5 prestige. We'll probably get more prestige from taking the province, but it's still. I'd
Right.
like to have a mission. It gives me a way to focus my energies.
Right. So as opposed to just randomly going out doing whatever you want, we have some sense of direction as to what we our first basic plan here is to
Yeah.
save
So
our people and possibly take over this territory.
yeah, so again, back to the religious screen, you can see here all the green is Sunni, which includes Azov, but you see the yellow stripes. That means it's currently being controlled by a Catholic province. I'm sorry, by a Catholic state, even though it is the province itself is Sunni. You can see here down Kaffa, it's Orthodox. The religion of the province is Orthodox, but it's being held by a Catholic nation again.
I see. So you changed this map here in the lower right. Is that all? Are
These
those
are all
all
the map modes.
diff
Like you could just drop it down. Oops, sorry. And like here's a map of the world and like the six basically that you most want. But I don't really care for the map of the world, so I just like having all the provinces available to me.
and all of these, can't even count that many. Those are all different types of maps here.
Yes,
Okay.
don't focus on it. We'll get to that. But like here, you can see the accepted culture mode, and you can see
Okay.
our culture Tartar, and the rest, the blue, are not our specific culture, but are in our culture group.
So basically, a very comprehensive way to view the, political or cultural landscape of
Mm-hmm.
whatever
Of
time
the
it
area.
is,
Yeah,
right?
there's a separate culture map mode that will show you the specific families. Like here again, here's our entire cultural family and all this.
Okay.
But yeah, don't like a lot of these
We
maps
see
are
that that's a
useful only in certain segments.
huge Tartar region
Yes,
that was there. Okay, so let's
brush every
start
day, kids.
with the Genoa campaign, I guess.
Okay, so first things first, we want to look at our fleets and armies. The armies have the shield icon. The navies have the flag icon. So you can see we have 9 infantrymen, Eastern archers, and 3 cavalry regiments, Eastern Steppe cavalry.
Now,
Which
this is our capital that they're located in?
yes, this is our capital. You see the little crown thingy
Right.
on the province thing. So yeah, we have those. They have no leader at the moment. We can either make our ruler.
Now,
Um,
so since we've zoomed in here,
mhm,
we can see that our region is broken down into other territories themselves, like individual territories,
provinces.
provinces. Okay. And so what's it like, what, how do the mechanics work with provinces? And we can conquer individual provinces, um, where as
Yeah.
opposed to conquering an entire nation.
Well, I mean, basically, unless that nation is like maybe three provinces or something like that, unless it's a small nation, you can't conquer it all in one go. So yeah, you have to take individual provinces.
And is there anything below provinces, or is that the smallest
I
uh,
mean, no,
form of?
that's it. I mean, like you can see here, yeah, here they name individual cities, but no, everything works on a province level
Okay.
as far as all that. And like, yeah, this is called the province screen. You can see everything from base tax to the demographics. Here's who has a core and claim, which we'll lead to later. Culture, religion. Um, here's the fort level we have. Trade, what we produce in this thing.
All
Here's
right.
buildings, which we'll get to again later on.
Right.
Um, so, but
Right.
I
I
did.
mean, it's all very intimidating
Well, no,
at first glance, but
yeah, yeah, like
we'll ease our way into it.
yeah, yeah. Over time, once you look at these things multiple times, it all makes sense. The game is amazingly elegant for all the things you can do. So,
Okay.
but all right, I did not actually cheat and go in here first and figure out what we're doing. So let's figure out what we're doing. So the first things first. Here is the trade screen. So you can see centers of trade. We have one right here in Kaffa, right next to us. And
That's where these three trade routes are or two are
so you can
converging.
see the overland, the old Silk
Diverging.
Road. You remember the Silk Road?
Right.
So here we go over Astrakhan and right into Crimea. So here it goes into the Constantinople trade node um, through the Bosphorus Straits, and that goes overland and all that stuff. Yeah, but we're being fed by Astrakhan and the provinces in our trade node right here, the Crimean trade node.
Okay. And we are
We are
ourselves
feeding
feeding Kiev as well as
Kiev.
Constantinople.
Exactly. And Kiev is a rather important province, as I said before, because it has 14 base tax, which is the second highest. It's tied for second highest um, base tax value province, only behind
Well, we'll
Paris.
get to that later. We'll worry about Kiev after we take
Beat
care
the
of.
Genoese,
Right.
indeed.
You know, we got to start small here.
Yeah, but no, this is my logic to the situation. We need to take over Genoa because we want the trade node. We want to have as much control over the trade node as possible.
So right now, does Genoa control that whole area, or is it
No,
shared,
no, no, no.
or?
So here's the trade, and you can see. So we have 2.98 ducats in this trade node.
And
And
ducats are basically
the
the
basic unit, yeah,
currency.
yeah, and almost one is heading up to Kiev in its entirety. You can see here by the little dude icon, we have a merchant here, and we have a merchant in Astrakhan as well. And you can see by the little check mark, we're using this merchant to push trade into our particular trade node, as opposed to sending it up to the Kazan trade,
I see.
or however you pronounce that. Yeah, you can see in this pie graph who owns what. You can see Crimea, we own 24% of the trade power in this node.
Right.
So we make our merchants are collecting 1.08 ducats out of this trade node, and we have 16.9 trade power. Now we can and we will increase this trade value, but you can see the Genoese with just two measly provinces is racking up another entire ducat here,
Okay.
which is not acceptable.
Right. I mean, but that's to be expected. We're the only people in that area,
Well,
as far
there's
as I can
still.
see.
Well, you can see. Keep this view here of all this, right? So Georgia, Akayulu, which I think is the white sheep, something. Who knows? Trebizond. They're also in this trade node. Trade node. We're the big bad boys. And that's also where the navies come in. We have two fleets here, which I'm going to combine into one fleet. Basically, the trade ships are these light ships, right? So we have two of them. And then we have galleys to help fight and cogs to transport. But I want them all together for this war because I don't want Genoa just running up on our light ships, on our barks, and just destroying them. So what I'm going to do is set them to protect trade in the Crimea, right?
Okay.
And I don't
So
know.
that's like a very specific command that you can give to your naval
Yeah,
units.
yeah, and you can
Um,
see here trade power from light ships is 0, but once we start the clock ticking, that'll boost up and give us some more trade.
right. So explain how time actually moves in this game.
Day by day, every single
Right. So
day
we
in the
see
year's
that
calendar.
it's November 11th, 1444 in the upper right there, and the game is paused, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, and each one of these tick marks represents an increase in speed.
Right.
So boosting it up to 5 is the highest. For a war, I
So
like to keep it at 3 or 4.
we can pause the game, make all of our strategic decisions,
And then get right back to
right,
it.
set our units to do what we want them to do, and then unpause the game, and they'll perform those actions in however much time it'll take, and you'll see the time running by as they perform those actions, I guess. So we'll see. We're still trying to organize our
We're
army
still,
here?
yeah, well, so I'm just basically going over the mechanics, and maybe I should just move this along. So, but all right, here's what I was thinking. You could see our Khan Haji. He's a decent leader, I guess. 334, and these are monarch points, which we'll again get to later. But you can see his son is a 002, and he's 4 years old only. But that's not going to improve. He's a moron. We don't like morons.
So he's
That's
permanently at a
yes.
002 of those points are one is military, the last one is military.
Yes, the
there's
scroll is administrative, the dove is diplomatic, and the cross swords are military.
right.
And these pool up here, and they're basically how they. This is how you improve your tech. You can see administrative, diplomatic, and how you get ideas. And ideas are very powerful for
Right.
improving your nation in specific ways.
Okay.
So,
And that's the sort of the way that you modernize by adopting ideas that sort of mature as a nation as you can adopt like communism, or maybe not communism, but sort of
well, so the one I always like
democracy.
to start out with, it's not ideas like that, but sort of defensive ideas. Like this is what I like to start out with. That improves our army tradition. We can institute military drills, which improves the morale of our armies, things like that. There are economic ideas like here, it's a good secondary idea or primary idea, depending on how you want to run your nation. Bureaucracy, I think there's Smithsonian economics somewhere around here. Yeah, right there.
Now these all progress as a single tree, whereas you have to
So,
unlock the one before it to move on to the next one. Is that
yeah,
correct?
so you could select ideas individually, but these unlock in
Right.
order, and then you get a bonus at the end, right? Once you've unlocked all
So
of them.
you can choose whichever category of idea you want, but once you choose that category, you have to progress along that horizontal tree within it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and you can see each one takes up a different kind of point, right? So that's why it's important to have a king with good stats, because you'll unlock ideas faster. Like our heir at 0, 0, and 2 isn't really going to be a good help. So I'm hoping he comes of age soon. Like we can't speed up time, but when he comes of age, I plan on making him a military leader and hoping he dies on the battlefield. We get a new heir.
I see. And how old is our current leader?
Our current leader is 24.
Okay, so we have a long way to go, assuming nothing happens to this guy.
Yeah, assuming again nothing happens. But again, this is where we run into the problem
No.
of we
Which
don't
is
have
more of a problem with another Paradox game, Crusader Kings, which has all sorts of stuff that can happen to leaders.
yeah.
But this one, we don't have to worry as much, I believe.
Yes, our leader is more of a point generator than any sort of specific entity with ideas and
Right.
opinions. Yeah, events happen at random here as far as the leader is concerned. Because again, we're role playing as a nation, not as a person, unlike CK2. Um, but yeah, so for this upcoming war, I want to recruit a military leader, and that'll cost 50 military points, but we need him. So this is not the greatest leader on the planet, but
So
at least he has a siege pip, so that's useful.
so that those are little squares that tell you what he's good at,
Yeah,
I
so
guess.
basically, here you have the fire marker, and here's the shock marker. And each pip you have increases, like there are die rolls, combat's based on die rolls, and each one of these adds 1 point to that die roll, basically. Um, Maneuver, it determines how fast they move through provinces, and it also affects combat, but in less straightforward ways. And siege adds another tick to your siege counter, making your sieges go faster. Um, but unfortunately, fire, as one would expect, really only comes into play into combat um, during the era of gunpowder. So right now, combat is dominated by the shock marker, which you can tell this dude is not exactly rocking in at the moment.
I see.
Faisal,
So when is gunpowder an idea that we unlock, or is it
So yeah,
something we have to discover
so
by?
yeah, as you proceed along the tech tree here. Okay, so I don't think it's going to show us this, and it may be because we're in the Nomad tech group or whatever.
Right,
Um,
because gunpowder
yeah, but
has
here,
been invented in
okay,
this
so
era.
yeah, so well, not I mean invented, but it wasn't widespread at this point.
Right.
But yeah, I think God, I can't remember the level, but at some point in military tech, we'll get gunpowder that can be used for muskets and such. And I don't think we have access to the unit because we are in the Nomad tech group, which we probably need to get out of at some
Now,
point.
Nomad is probably one of the lowest tech groups in this game
On this continent.
and on this continent.
So
Um,
the thing is, there are other nations who are farther. This is the tech view, right here, and you could see we're comparable with everyone. Everyone at this point is at 3 through 3 for administrative dip and military tech, uh, all the way across the continent except for these regions. Ming, so they're 2 2 2. Everyone 2 2 2 over here. Um, if we could see Africa, like sub-Saharan Africa, would be at 1 1 1.
right. And
And
Western Europe is probably in the fours, I would
no,
guess.
no. You can see them right here. They're all at threes,
Okay.
right? So this game starts at a time when Muslims and Europeans were just like up until this point, Muslims had the tech advantage, but this was just beginning the point where Europeans take over as far as tech. They start dominating the
Although
world in terms of technology.
what we did start at the rise of the Ottomans,
Mm-hmm.
albeit not a very
Yeah, the
uh,
Ottomans are a very unique case. In fact, they get their own tech group in this game. That's how unique they
right.
are.
Um,
But at some point,
it's ironic in a sense because I mean the game is called Europa Universalis. It's basically I mean Europe is the main player here as it was in world history in general. But you know it's basically the fall of the Ottomans that happens as we progress through this. I mean, we will probably make that happen a lot sooner than it did because we are right in that area and we definitely
yeah.
want to control that and take care of them first before we expand.
Well, I think
I mean
well
not
at
first,
the
but
not yeah no not at
uh,
first. Like I would like to ally with the Ottomans at first. I think again, like I said, we need to get rid of Genoa. That's the first stop. I'd like to finish off the Golden Horde, take as much territory from them as we can. And hopefully stymie the progression of Muscovy, but really, again, I want Kiev. So at that point, we could worry about expanding either east or west, or maybe south.
all right. So let's get this Genoa campaign started. I
Okay.
feel like I've already said that, but there's a lot to
Yes.
explain, so
Yeah.
it's easy to
So
get
we'll put
sidetracked.
our leader in here. So let's as far we have our merchants set up and everything. I just want to make sure everything's good to go.
So
Our
we
economy.
hired that military advisor, and even though he wasn't
Well,
the
not no
best,
no no. He wasn't a military advisor. He
or
was a
yeah,
general.
the general, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Can we hire an advisor? No, let's not do that. That would cost too much dang money. So yeah, but like you can
and we
see
can
here, our
see,
force limits is at 12 of 17. So we could stand to hire some more regiments, which might not be a bad idea at this point.
and we can see the money in the upper left there.
Yeah,
And
71. That's our manpower. That's how many men who are currently of serving age. And as our units deplete, that'll go up. Piety, which is something we'll get to at some point. Stability is fine for the moment. Passenger check, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's do this. So go to our diplomacy screen, go to declare war. What does this do?
So we have an options for why we are declaring
Yeah.
war.
So yeah, so you need a casus belli, but you can see here, take Azov, we'll only get 75% aggressive expansion, which is a penalty for us. We'd only pay for 75% of that, but if we take show superiority, apparently we'd only get 50%. Scores from wing battles, 80% of battles will give you a ticking war score. Alright,
So
so
you're saying that the showing superiority reason for attacking Azov is well, statistically the better reason.
yeah.
At least according to the game.
Well, yeah, like your neighbors will view you less negatively. Is basically all
Right,
aggressive
it's
expansion
because
means.
they will, as would be natural, if you take over a territory, your neighbors are going to get concerned that you're aggressively expanding. But if we're showing superiority, apparently that
That is
that
better
makes them
than
less cautious for whatever reason.
than try.
Uh,
Well, think of it this way: if we're taking Azov over for religious or ethnic reasons, there are nations around us who would be more concerned about that because they either have territories of our ethnicity or are of a different religion. But if we're doing it just because Genoa is being dickish to us, then they don't mind as much.
I see.
So let's do that.
But they aren't. Are they being dickish? I say that
You know what,
they
Jay? Don't focus too hard on it. So they're already, and hopefully Genoa doesn't show up with a fleet to kick our butt. But here we
Okay.
go. Yeah, so our diplomat's going over there. I also want to send one here. Not influence. Can we get an alliance with the Ottomans? We can. Yeah, I would like an alliance with the Ottomans, which maybe we should have done before we declared war. But stuff happens. And hopefully that'll work out.
So we are.
We are currently ticking away. Yay! We are allied with the Ottomans.
Okay, that's a huge alliance that
Yes,
we
that
have
is
now.
very important for us. So Austria, yeah.
Now, where did
So-
you send that diplomat?
Basically, I mean, just sent it to the capital of the Ottomans,
Okay.
and so they have. He needs time to travel back. Obviously, less time than the one we sent to Genoa to declare war.
So we sent a guy to declare war. Why wouldn't he just be murdered instantly?
Because it's not done, Jay. Like you have to.
And
Don't,
why
don't
does it?
kill the messenger.
Why does it take 28 days? I mean,
The time is predicated upon the distance. So if I wanted
we
to
sent him all the way to the capital
Yes.
to tell them
we're
that we're
declaring war
gonna
on
take
their
over these things that
right
are right
next
next
door
to
to
us.
our yeah.
There's
basically.
no administrative support right in that area apparently that we can just
Well,
tell them. And
Okay,
we apparently
you
have
go
to. We
to
apparently
their leader.
have to announce
don't
this.
be picky about this.
We apparently have to announce this so that they know that we're invading them, rather than just taking over the place and just not telling them.
Exactly. It's not. It's just not
This is
done
back when
in any circles with propriety.
there was chivalry in
Yes.
war, I suppose.
I suppose so. So the problem we have right now is Austria is defending Genoa, which is not great for us. But hopefully they won't be able to get to us. Maybe if they do, we're in trouble.
We should have sent that diplomat, obviously.
Yeah. Well. All right. So this guy has arrived. So let's see if we can get the Ottomans to join the war. Yes. Great. Ottomans honored our military alliance. They're in the war with us. We still are running the war, but we have the two big heavies in here, Ottomans and Austria. Oh, and look, the Genoese just created a dude in whatever. That's fine.
And
So
the
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
they
recruit
sent
some
back our
more.
diplomat without killing him,
Ooh, what
apparently.
did we do? I don't know what that was
Slight
about.
hiccup there, because somebody got the flu, apparently.
Yes. Rumors say that sailors came back from a trip sick like hell, and the ones who didn't die on board infested the whole city with their disease. It is time to act before the whole country dies from coughing and cold sweat. So we can either quarantine the port and let the people die, or we can just ignore it. Global tax modifier, local manpower modifier,
Now, this is an era where the flu is basically, would kill thousands
local trade power.
of people.
Yeah.
So I would guess, the moral,
Who cares about the
the
morality of it? You can see the numbers of what's going to happen right here. And I don't like this little event at the bottom of this. It says 75% chance of the influenza
but
will spread here.
this is an important decision here because
I've already made this.
it is the first time. Well, we have the ability. It's a important ethical decision here. Would you sacrifice some people for the greater good? And apparently the
Yes.
greater good is better numbers. So
Actually, it's worse numbers for Yitsen, but at least it won't spread to the capital, and we don't lose administrative power.
well, maybe
So-
we can have Yetsen spread some of it to Lithuania up there.
Right.
And-
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recruit some more archers. Where are they going? Where are they headed to? They're headed to Lower Dawn. That's fine.
That's the Genoese troops there.
Yeah. And
So the game is paused again. Right?
Yeah. So
While we make these decisions.
yeah. So we're back onto it right now. But you can see our little fleet here once this gets going. This is why we didn't play on Iron Man. You can see they're
So
running
that's
around.
the path.
Yeah, and you can see like their numbers drop below 2,000, so they can't effectively siege our thing. That's why it has the exclamation marks. But once this troop gets up there, so here's our siege counter, and you can see here the phase progress from leader siege because our leader has that one pip. It's increased by 1, but we're still a long way from. Oh, here are their troops. They're dropping 4 off in the Crimea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach a siege here to let them keep sieging, and I'm headed to Crimea to
So
fight them.
we left 2 to
Regiments.
siege, and we moved 10 regiments
Yeah,
back
and our
to
ships are kind of fighting theirs, and we're not doing that great because they have a leader. So what I'm going to do is send our ships here, and yeah, we didn't lose anything. So we lost that, but I'm okay with that. Who got the base one? And we have an alliance from Nagai.
No guy.
Nagai,
The
whatever.
lesbian nation.
Yes, exactly. Oh, and Lithuania guaranteed us, which means they think we're weak, bastards. What do you think? An alliance with them? It'd be useful against Muscovy. Yeah, let's take it. Alright. So back to the war. Yeah, now that they got their troop numbers up, they're sieging the province. But yeah, they landed their troops and they're about to get their stuff kicked in. And they're the Ottoman ships right there. So
So
Royal Marriage-
each regiment has the country's flag next to it.
yeah.
The Ottoman ship is the red with the crescents.
Yeah, so
Really?
this is a marriage alliance offer from them, but I don't think they're gonna last very long. So I don't want to waste a
Who is them?
Akiyunlu,
I
whoever
see.
these people. I don't know,
Yes,
but they want
nobody's
to have
ever
a
heard
royal
of them.
marriage with them.
Nobody
They're like 3
knows who they are.
provinces. They're,
They have
they're
Kurdistan.
legitimately 3
They
provinces.
have Armenia, which I've heard of. The
Yeah,
but other than that, nobody knows who they are, and quite frankly, nobody gives
Yeah, nobody cares.
Okay.
But it
So,
reminds me that we should have a royal marriage with the Ottomans
right,
and possibly the Mamluks. Or that no, they wouldn't take a. They probably wouldn't take an alliance off there either because we're allied with the Ottomans. But can we get a marriage with the guy? Yeah, screw it. Let's get married to all our allies. How about that?
so who are we marrying exactly?
The Ottomans and Nogai.
But which people are getting married?
Like various random people in our royal family. Again, like you could have theoretically as many royal marriages. You could have 100. Except
Well, I
they would
mean,
strain your diplomatic power.
we are part of the Mongol Empire. No surprise that we have many heirs, I suppose, many
Yeah,
offspring of the great Khan.
we actually our guy does trace his descent from the Khans. Yes, the Great Khan. But yeah, it's fine. But now that the Ottomans are here, all reinforcements happen at the beginning of a month. So I'm gonna wait till this is the beginning of the month. Then I'm gonna send our navy in here to help kick the Genoese fleet's ass, so our ships can repair. Yay, royal marriages with both of them. And get out here. I'm gonna set this up to pop up and pause every time it happens, just so we know. But you can see we totally wiped out the Genoese. They lose prestige, although they gain army tradition, and they get war exhaustion. We also get war exhaustion, but less than them because we won. We gain army tradition and 5 prestige, which you'll remember is the exact amount we get for conquering this province. So those mission rewards, not exactly the greatest thing on the planet, but what can you do?
All right.
Actually, I'm gonna leave.
Well, so we won that battle. I think that's a good ending point for this video. I mean, I know the actual tactics and or strategy of that whole section were kind of fast and
Yep.
hard to follow. So, I guess later videos will go more into that mechanic as well. But I mean, I guess all we
Yeah.
need to know for now is, we have a general understanding of what's going on.
Hmm.
We have a, sense of direction in what we're trying to achieve here. And hopefully you guys stay tuned for what else we do here, or what
Yeah.
else, we come up with.
And if you're thinking about getting into EU, don't let basically that I threw a bunch of stuff at you today scare you. It's a feast. So slow down and enjoy the appetizers, alright?
All right, sounds good. And we'll see you for the next video.
Bye, everyone.